This is Linux Inlaws, a podcast on free Libra open source software, broadcasting from the United Kingdom and Germany.
Welcome to Linux Inlaws, Season 2, Episode 51. Martin, how are things on this beautiful pre-spring day of 2028?
Well, there are many pre-spring days, but yeah, depends which part of the year pre-spring. But anyway,
yes, exactly. I mean, this is another time traveling episode, so we're recording
unless
this
it's spring.
in the spring of 2028. The world has not yet come to a grinding halt. So there may be more. Yes, I'm positive.
Okay. Let's see.
Yes, unfortunately, we can't reveal much more because telling the future would mean changing the past. And as we all know, this is a time-traveling paradox that you cannot break.
Well, it has been done, of course, but there we go.
Has it?
Oh, it's first time for everything, yep.
But this is not about time travel, but rather about English politics. So
well,
why don't you
maybe
give it a shot?
Maybe we should do one on time travel one day. Yeah, I'm sure that'd be quite a lot of interest in this topic.
Yes, indeed. So, what's the crack with English politics these days? If there's still such a thing called the English politics.
Pretty quiet, I think. I can't remember anything memorable happening recently. So, sounds like any other European country.
Recently, as in the last 200 years or something, right?
Well, many things that happen in that time, but yeah.
Okay. In that case, let's venture. Yes.
How are things in Frankfurt, Germany?
The usual.
Yes. Has the flooding started yet? Or?
No.
Oh, yes.
Sunrise between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. Sun sets between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. or something like that. And
5
the rest is drinking. Yeah. Well, wintertime, right? So if there is such a thing as the sun.
Yes, no, it's not winter time. Anyway, never mind. Yes, not about the weather. Let's carry on.
I mean, for some reason, the sun has somewhat disappeared because it used to be
I don't think it kind of goes on holiday. You know, it's pretty much very stationary in the galaxy.
you see, Martin, this is a matter of perception,
let's go
right?
visit another galaxy.
No, I mean, you see, I don't know how it is in the UK, but I reckon it's still there.
I think we have the same sun.
Yes, but you see, it used to be all the rage here on local newsstands, but for some reason it has disappeared. But I reckon it's still available in the UK, right?
I'm sure it's available everywhere. You just can't see it. But anyway.
No, I'm talking about the tabloid now.
Oh, the tabloids.
Yes.
What, you had the sun in Germany?
Of course. You missed that pun, right? And don't worry about it.
Why do you have this
Martin, we're not getting any younger.
Are people interested in English celebrities? I don't know.
You just pointed out the fact that it's everywhere, right?
Yes, but you said it's finished in Germany or something. I don't know.
Exactly. Anyway,
I'm surprised they ever had any.
In case we haven't confused the audience yet, let's give this another shot.
Yes.
And the subject of tonight's presentation, as a feature presentation, is of course, Martin, not the sun, but
podcasts we listen to.
Exactly, it's another off-topic episode because we will mention a full caveat. We will mention podcasts that have nothing to do with free, legal, open source software.
Indeed.
As a matter of fact, some listeners may find this really disturbing. So if you are under the age of
now,
if you are under the age of 35, if you're still a minor, if you don't have parental guidance with you or another guardian or something, you might just fast forward to the boxes just in case. Because the following content is pretty disturbing if you're just coming from a false angle and may contain graphic and detailed description of violence. Is that what I'm looking for? Maybe not.
Maybe not. Well, it depends. Anyway, let's
So, Martin, why do we listen to
cracking.
podcasts?
Yes,
Exactly.
Why do we listen to podcasts? Well, yes. I mean, historically, there was a good reason to do this, because people used to commute for hours to work and back, particularly on public transport and stuff like that. But even in a car, it's quite a handy way to spend the time.
I mean, I have an even better reason, actually, because we are making a podcast, right?
Yes, but we started listening to podcasts before we made a podcast.
Very true, Martin. But you see, if we listen to other podcasts, we might as well, I wouldn't say steal, but rather borrow and not give back ideas, concepts, inspirations.
That's not a bad idea. Why don't we do that? Yeah.
Well, we've done this for the last 25 years or something.
Are you sure? I thought we made all this up anyway.
No, Martin, you see, for example, the boxes, right? The picks of the week. I mean,
okay.
Yes, that concept goes back to a podcast called, now long forgotten, of course, Linux Format or something like that, or Linux something. We had them on the show about, 20 years ago, and they spoke about findings of the fortnight, right?
Yes.
Which wasn't too far off from what we do call Poxes.
Yeah.
And also there's
also the I can't remember who did that, the Vim versus Emacs question. One of those podcasts did that at the end, didn't they?
No, I mean, this is religion, right? That has nothing to do with free liberal open source software.
Indeed.
This is just churches and religions and religion, rather, not just one, not just many, just one. And that sort of thing.
Anyway, so why do we listen to podcasts?
To be inspired, to learn, of course, to ridicule things that we do not like, of course.
Oh, are you one of those people that write comments?
Indeed, Martin, you don't.
You're one of the 1%ers. Feel they have to comment on stuff. Yeah, fair enough.
Absolutely, Martin. And for the rest, we do have large language models now and bots and all the rest of them.
We do.
I mean, we're not revealing a secret, but for example, there's one podcast and we will go through all of them in the next 24 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, that was hugely inspirational for something called Linux Inlaws, and this is actually something used to be called Linux Outlaws, in addition to Frost
Weekly. They don't exist anymore, though, did they? So.
They're still around. I won't go into the details, but they split at some stage.
Well, the podcast isn't around anymore.
Exactly. And
obviously the old episodes are, but they don't make any new ones.
Yes. No, I mean, they stopped producing Linux Outlaws in 2012, 2013, something like that. Maybe 2014.
Okay.
Fab still makes podcasts. Details maybe in the show notes. But Dan does more music these days and has also launched a psychology podcast. All those years ago. I'm not too sure if that's still around, because I can only listen to podcasts about 32 hours in a given day. So
no. Surely you can do 48 hours in a day if you have it on time speed.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of these weird things, but unfortunately, there are about 50 podcasts on the whole planet that I do not listen to yet.
Very good. So let's get cracking then with the 4 hours of your list. Well, actually, sorry. No, before we do that, when do you listen to podcasts? Actually, in your copious spare time.
I start about at 2 minutes after midnight, and I stop listening to them about 57 minutes past 11 p.m.
Okay.
What about yourself, Martin?
Not quite that organized, I have to admit. Yeah, it's varies.
You do it when you do the dishes, do the laundry, look after the kids, do the cooking.
We do have a dishwasher, so yeah. Cooking is a good time. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, quite a
And
good invention.
exactly, and when the wife tries to talk to you.
No, that's
You don't listen to podcasts then? Okay,
not the right time.
Yeah,
usually.
Martin, if it's not a two-person question, exactly.
Hmm.
Did you try this before with limited
this?
success? As in,
No.
Podcast when the wife tried to talk to you.
I really used to do this during travel, but then that kind of disappeared. So then it turned into when doing chores or.
Okay. I mean, your commute is about what, 30 seconds, right?
No, it's a bit more than that. There's various
45?
doors that open and things like that. So. Yes. Occasional stop at on the way. Yeah.
The detour by the station next where the craft beer place is.
They don't have to be open in the morning somehow. Yeah.
How many times did you try to convince them otherwise? I wonder.
Yeah,
but that's still around, right? Because that used to be a beautiful place. Never mind your objections, for want of a better term here.
It is still around, indeed. Yes.
Okay, excellent. So, unknown craft beer place in unknown place near Birmingham. If you want to be as featured on this podcast, simply walk down the road and talk to Martin.
Yes, and bring money. That would be good. Or
never mind beer.
Free beer vouchers. Or just beer, yeah.
Okay, is there anything else we should discuss before we dive into that list with about 2,547 podcasts?
No, that's kind of cracking since we have 50 hours to do. Yep.
Okay, no particular order. Let's start with the Free Libre open source podcast. The free word. So on my list, I have actually quite a few of them. Let's start with the more generic ones. Actually, Floss Weekly, of course, because this is basically where we took our inspiration from all these 27 years ago, when we originally started Linux Inlaws. And most of the podcasts we're going to discuss now are still around. We occasionally may mention podcasts that are no longer publishing. Or publishing, or are publishing very infrequently. Let's put it this way, like once in a blue moon or something like that.
Yes, we know who you know who you are if you're listening.
Exactly. Okay, Floss Weekly. What is it about, Martin?
Floss Weekly. Well, it's kind of the format's changed over time, right?
A lot. Yes.
Yeah. So. And also the presenters have changed, so it's I don't know. But anyway, it's really about what's new in Floss this week, kind of, or that's what it used to be, and then they changed it.
Yeah.
And
they're featured projects, right?
Yeah, they're featured projects and people and all that kind of stuff. As you say, it tends to be mainly interviews.
I mean, release schedules every week. Leo Laporte started this in 2002. Maybe I'm wrong. Then Randall Schwartz got involved. Randall ran this for about details, of course, maybe spotty because I may miss a couple of presenters. Randall took over shortly after in 2005 or something like that. 2005, something like that. He ran this until. When did Jonathan take? When did Doc Searles take this over? That was 2018 or something like that, right? So then Doc Searles had a stint, and then Leo Laporte, as in who runs Twit, decided to shut this down. Jonathan wasn't too impressed with my interpretation of the matter and took it to Hackaday, which is now the home of Floss Weekly. Format hasn't changed that much. They still run weekly shows on projects, people, with, unlike us, with a varying rota of co-hosts, I might add. The constant presenters being Jonathan and Jonathan and Jonathan.
Yeah. And they have video, right?
They have video, yes, and they have two finishing questions. Namely, what editor do you use and what script language do you use?
Yeah.
And people have mentioned all sorts of strange things. Like, I didn't know that actually Rust was a scripting language until they had somebody on the show that actually made the point that actually you can compile Rust on the fly.
Yeah, that's true.
What he didn't mention, of course, is in small code bases like 10 lines of code that only pull down about 100 modules or something, or crates or something like that. So exactly. Anything longer is you wouldn't consider it to be a scripting language, but that's just probably a mute or minor point. Okay, more Floss podcasts. I mean, we already mentioned the Software Freedom. Not the Software Freedom, but the Free Software. Free Software Foundation. Free Software Foundation Europe. Exactly. It's been a long day. Europe that does the Software Freedom podcast, of course.
Yeah, I don't listen to that one actually.
You don't? You should.
Apart from when they mentioned this, but yeah.
I see. And why's that, Martin?
Well, they tend to be fairly generic, those kind of talks, but
it's more like it's not hardcore techie stuff. It's more like politics, right?
Indeed, yeah.
So you're not that inclined, I suppose.
No, I also don't watch the news, so it's kind of.
You don't watch the news, okay?
Nah.
But then you're married, right? So you just have to talk to your wife.
Well, she doesn't watch the news either. So
she doesn't. Okay, fair enough.
This is the thing about the news. You could turn it on one day, and then a week later, it's about the same. So
I see. Okay, other podcasts we listen to, of course, Linux Matters.
There's
with the
same Ubuntu guys as well.
Exactly, with the same that used to do the the UK Ubuntu podcast, or shortly afterwards called Ubuntu podcast, and this is now called Linux Matters. Format is somewhat different. It's pretty short episodes. It's about 20-30 minutes. They mostly feature, as in Alan and friends, mostly feature the experiences in terms of they have come across something that they find worth mentioning, and then they go into some level of detail and discuss this. Subject do not have to be Floss related. For example, one of them discussed his experiences with electric cars, with electric vehicles recently.
Okay.
And so that doesn't necessarily relate to Floss.
No. But then the Grumpies did that as well, right? So I don't know who was first, but
you see, the Grumpies are not about open source software in the first place.
True. They also cover Microsoft stuff, and so
they mentioned a lot of things. We have them
when they make an episode.
For the people who are in the dark of what we're talking about. There's of course a podcast called Grumpy Old Coders, also known affectionately as GOCs. They have been around for the last 4 years with about 2 episodes a year or something. I don't know. Sorry.
Who knows?
Dave and Thomas, if you're listening, sorry. Yes, we couldn't resist, but not to worry about this. We still love you.
We do.
And we're sure looking forward to having you back on the show. With or without you publishing an episode. I know that both of them are listening. So keep up the good work, people, I'm tempted to say.
Yeah, and despite working for Redis, indeed. Yep.
You see, Martin, only one of them works for Redis.
Oh, yes.
Not both of them, okay?
Well, it's fine, I know. Maybe he works for AWS.
Everybody
works for AWS these days.
Including the defectors, exactly. Anyway, going back to much safer now. Yes, of course, there are quite a few dormant podcasts. For example, I used to listen to something called The Command Line Heroes, done by Red Hat. But apparently this is either dead or very dormant these days because Red Hat hasn't released for ages, exactly, at least for a couple of years.
They have a different podcast now, actually, don't they, Red Hat?
By the name of?
Well, I'll have to be in the show notes, but yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
So anything else that comes to mind, Martin? On the Floss front now.
On the Floss front, aren't really that many other that are purely floss focused.
I mean, two still come to mind. They're not that technical. It's called one of them is called the open source startup and the open source underdog.
Okay.
Underdog podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them actually, I came across this when I was still working at Redis, and somebody mentioned the fact that Ofer, the CEO of Redis, was on open source underdogs.
Uh-huh.
And both of them, and of course links will in the show notes, both of them feature actually or shed light on the business angle of the open source business. Open source startup publishes regularly. They have a road of about, I think, 2 weeks, and open source underdogs just when they feel like it. As in, you have an episode maybe once a year, but then there are peaks where they release a bunch of episodes in a very short time span. Yes.
Okay. Odd. Okay. Yeah. So, open source. What's open source startup podcast about then? Business angle, you say?
Business angle, exactly. How to set up I mean, it's all about monetization at the end of the day. Basically, how to set up a business, what traps you can fall into, how not to do it. Also, basically, it's. I'm almost tempted to say it's a little bit of a marketing angle because they just feature projects, both of them. In terms of if you have something very cool, if you're still looking for your next VC funding round, these are the podcasts you want to appear on. That is my impression from the outside.
Yeah. I'm just looking at some of the latest stuff. It's stuff about LLMs and Kubernetes and whatever.
I mean, it's mostly project driven.
Yeah, project driven, but then companies that do something around it. Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
And of course, then there are
the watch,
and then there's the heap of topic-related podcasts. For example, I listen to Python Bytes, Python People, and Talk Python.
Can you do a podcast about Python?
It's straightforward. You just talk about it.
Talking about Pepsi. Okay.
No, I mean, yeah.
No? Okay.
Funny enough, Python Bytes do this.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
that makes sense.
It's Michael Kennedy and Brian Orkin. Yeah, it's two of them, Michael Kennedy, Brian Orkin, talking about what's happening in the greater Python community on a weekly basis, I might add, in addition to some off-topic topics. But most of the stuff would actually be Python related. Sometimes they speak about stuff that they simply came across and find worth mentioning. But mostly it's about cool new Python tools like package managers, what's happening with the PEPs and all the rest of it. Talk Python is much more project focused. Michael Kennedy runs it. Michael Kennedy, of course, recently being of PSF fame, as in Python Software Foundation, he really tries to make a stand, I'm tempted to say, to get a foot in the door on a global scale from a Python perspective. Full disclosure, he runs a training company. I have the impression that yes, there is a commercial angle to the whole format, because he, of course, does peddle his training courses. But then he also does, fair play to him, a lot of things for the community. I mean,
that's fair enough. I mean, as long as it's if the community stuff has the upper hand or whatever is the main focus, then fine, you can mention your training courses.
And of course, Brian Orkin being the mastermind, I'm tempted to say, behind something called PyTest. Because this is basically what he implemented all those years ago, or started to implement.
It's just a pretty handy piece of...
Indeed, especially if you're programming Python, exactly.
Well, even if you're not programming Python, you can use it with many other...
I mean, it's geared towards Python, of course, because we won't go to this. Because
you can test anything with it.
Yes, but I mean, if you take a look at how does PyTest really work,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you put it into a directory and it just picks up Python code. It takes a look at the Python code, and if it's just it just starts testing right away.
Okay. No, Python. But if you're using something like PyUnit on top, then you can.
Yes. The domain-specific frameworks, exactly.
Well, you don't even need the framework, right? You just have to write a test, compare your expected result with what comes out, and then you've got a test. Anyway.
Brian also runs another podcast called Python People. Very infrequently, by the way. I thought it was dead quite a few times because he publishes maybe once a year, maybe every couple of weeks, but very infrequently, let's put it this way. The idea is to feature people who made a difference in the Python community, as in project maintainers, people who came up with brilliant ideas with regards to Python code and all the rest of it.
Okay, fair enough.
And venturing to much safer grounds, there are 3 Rust podcasts that listen to on a regular basis.
Only 3?
Only 3, yes.
How can you manage? Yeah.
Because I haven't found the rest of them yet, I suppose. I don't know. These are called Rust in Production. Essentially, it's about how to deploy the programming language or the technology actually in production environments. Rustization Station. It's exactly. We had Alan on the show, exactly, and Weimar runs it most of the time. And it's about cool new Rust projects, let's put it this way. But also the shedding light on the ecosystem around this language. And there's a third one run by an Italian guy called Rust Ship. It's somewhat a little bit on the more amateur side. And he has guests on that show that talk about anything under the sun Rust related. From how they started off with Rust, how they mastered Rust, which I found very interesting at times, also the pitfalls, and some other, let's put it this way, interesting things in that ecosystem. If you're so inclined. I mean, coming from C#, coming from Golang, that's probably the podcast you're going to listen to after midnight if you can't get to sleep. like Martin himself now.
I'm glad to say I've never used C#. Yeah. Anyway,
but that was just one example, right? So very important.
Okay.
What about
Python, Rust? Yeah.
Yes.
Well. So you didn't mention Malicious Life and
Unchained Escapers. Yeah.
Sorry, you were still on open source. Okay.
No, Martin, what about yourself?
What about
you mentioned Postgres? I mean, we're not okay. We are just venturing outside the podcast frame. We are now touching also on YouTube channels.
Yeah, because
to be complete, exactly.
Podcasts are quite long and.
So Martin is more the hipster type and with a short attention span. So he goes more into 20-second YouTube things.
Something like that.
Exactly. No, Martin, why don't you take it away?
On the open source front, obviously we have, first of all, Percona, right? A big open source company.
Percona, if you listen to the email addresses.
Then... Yeah, I mean, okay. So just in summary, Percona actually is a pretty unique company in that everything they do is open source, right? That most open source based companies have a bunch of investors and they do have open core, but they want to see return on their money, whereas that is not the driving factor for Percona. So in that respect, they're quite unique. They just care about having everything open. That's what they care about, not about making billions of money, which is probably why they're still a relatively small company. But there we go.
Because the money comes from things they cannot possibly talk about.
maybe. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so that's the one. Then, of course, we have Postgres, as you mentioned.
What's Postgres FM then?
Postgres FM? Have you not
Yes.
seen it? Heard it?
No, I
Oh,
have not.
it's deep. Well, it is deep podcast on Postgres, really.
Yeah, but you see, I do not use Postgres. Somebody convinced me
You don't?
to use Postgres, on one of the servers for the podcast, but that's as far as it went.
Well,
Yes.
if you're not using Postgres, you're doing something wrong.
Martin, that's a well-known fact. Please
Anyway.
join the queue. Join the line, Martin.
Yeah.
You will be at the very end.
It's run by two guys. They tend to cover all sorts of aspects to Postgres, whether it's interviews or details about some new features or tools around Postgres. Anything Postgres related, new releases of multi-column indexes, that kind of level. So you will see a bunch of stuff in depth and as well as interviews. So it's purely aimed at Postgres people, right? That's
so similar to Rust Ship, you want to listen to this? If you want to see. I see.
Yes. So that was that, and then there's of course Valky. They have
They have a podcast.
They don't have a podcast, but they have a YouTube channel, and there's a very good talk on there about that's just been uploaded.
Somebody working for AWS? Details maybe the show notes.
Maybe in the show notes. Yeah. So where are we? I think. Let me see. That's probably.
We're still kind of talking about open source podcasts now, right? We will go into the non-open source things in a minute, or maybe an hour or two. Exactly.
We will. I mean, there's various Python things that I cover, but they're not specifically covering the open source aspect. They're more about the language and so on. So.
So what things do you listen to in the Python context then?
Well, there's a bunch of people that are do really nice in-depth stuff on various Python language constructs. Where if you don't like reading things, you can just listen to someone explaining it instead.
Just manual pages read out.
Not so much. No. It's if
more
someone
like tutorials.
It's if someone is good at a certain language and knows how to use it, then obviously they can explain how to use it and what to use it for, which is more than reading a manual where some developer has written 2 lines. This is for this, as manuals usually are. So you're free. You're free consultancy, teaching, learning thingy, whatever.
And most of them would be LLM driven, as in generated by large language models.
These have been going for years. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Even before the craze, I see.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Is
it now safe to leave the Floss realm, I wonder?
Sure, I think so. Yeah. Okay.
So let's leave the Floss realm and dive right into still computer science related things, but rather outside the Floss realm.
Yeah.
Let's start with Code Red. It's done by Mirko Novakovic, if I get that second name right. He runs a company called Dash Zero. It's a marketing. He started a company called CodeCentric about 25 years in Solingen. Funny enough, the town where I come from.
What the hell?
Yes. Did a spin-off called Ipanema or something like that. Ipanema. Details were in the show notes. In the mid-teens, sold this off to IBM for pocket cash like $500 million. And then now has various hobbies like opening wine restaurants, setting up wine bars, and also this software startup called Dash Zero, which is not too far away from combining artificial intelligence with monitoring technology, like everybody else, essentially. Yeah. But it's why is it still interesting? Because every now and then, the format is he publishes weekly, and he's also we had that venture capital thing on the show about a couple of years back. Alexander Hochgarten, who's the son of one of the founders of CodeCentric, of course, talking about the VC angle on Floss.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly where he comes from. And of course, Mirko does also run a VC company with all that cash flying around. And I have the impression that most of the guests basically do come from that kind of VC funding background. So it's all monitoring related, fair enough, but he knows everybody, the dog and his master and everybody else on the sun, and that's exactly the guests that he basically drags into the podcast. It's still interesting to kind of see what's happening in the monitoring world, and not just from a system perspective of monitoring, but also rather from what's happening outside the realm of pure system monitoring, like application performance monitoring. How do you integrate artificial intelligence with that technology and that sort of thing? Exactly. Yes. And my impression is that he apparently funds about 50% of the ecosystem on a venture funding basis.
They certainly have a lot of money, judging by the amount of presence they had at what was it? We Are Developers in Berlin. There was a massive amount of Dash Zero people there. Yeah.
Oh, you met them? Okay.
Anyway, okay. Where were we? Right.
Computer technology stuff. Of course, there's one podcast I have to name. It's Changelog, actually, because they have been going on for the last 150 years or something.
The name doesn't appealing, I have to admit.
No, I mean, they have 3 varieties. Essentially, they have shows where they just talk about themselves. They have shows, and that's the type I'm listening to, where they have guests on, and that can be anything. Ranging from vibe coding right up to what you can get wrong when you use a certain advanced web scripting technology. I mean, it varies a lot, but I found it so inspirational because the episodes are quite short. You're looking at on average less than 3 hours. Most of them clock in around 1 hour, kind of, and 1 hour 30 minutes and 2 hours. So that's okay. And if you cut out the commercials, even shorter. But they do tend to go into a level of detail which I find quite interesting. Let's put it this way.
Okay.
But sometimes you have to separate the wheat from the chaff, as it is normally the case.
Okay.
And of course, there's a pseudo show. I don't know if that rings a bell. Something, that I wasn't aware of until I ran into Neil and friends again at this year's Flock in Prague. Flock, for the people who don't know, it's the community event for Fedora. And the pseudo show has started. I reckon they took a leaf out of our book, because I think they started half a year later, but the format is pretty similar. Again, going back now to the open source angle, because their claim is to talk about open source in enterprise context. But at the end of the day, it's similar to Floss Weekly. It's similar to us. They feature projects on an open in the open source ecosystem community, whatever we want to call it.
Well, to be fair, we cover modern projects, right? In the open source world,
But again, they also
we're pretty unique there, really. I think. Yeah, carry on.
Maybe, but because you see, they vary too. Because sometimes they have guests and sometimes they do not. But
no,
I have the impression,
like the software freedom people and the FSF and all that kind of stuff.
Yes. For them, it's mostly about how to deploy open source software in enterprise context. Plus, they have slackened an awful lot over the last 2 or 3 years, because they used to do this on a fortnightly basis, and now, if you're lucky, you get 3 episodes out of a year. I have the impression.
How many?
3, maybe 4. Yeah, I spoke to Neil about this in Prague, and he said, we simply don't have the time to get together for a weekend or 2 and to record all of these episodes in advance. Apparently, this is how they do it.
I see.
And in contrast to us,
regular, yeah. Okay.
No, in contrast to us, basically, they do have a monetizing scheme in place because they have ads.
Nobody likes ads. Yeah. Okay.
I almost forgot about actually one of my favorite podcasts. It's called Talking Kotlin, and of course we had them on the show too.
We did.
They underwent a little bit of change recently because some of their hosts were kind of changed. Let's put it this way, but it's still powered by JetBrains, of course, the company, of course, being behind Kotlin. But it's still I find this still interesting to keep up what's happening in the Kotlin world. They used to publish regularly, but now have also gone down to once every 2 months, maybe, if you're lucky, or even more seldomly.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess frequency is an interesting topic in that respect.
I mean, we did Slack. Yeah, I mean, we did kind of. How can I put this?
I don't know.
Okay, if there's one thing that's probably rock solid about the Linux Inlaws, we publish every 2 weeks. Sunshine, snow, rain, hail, Trump being re-elected, Maggie Thatcher being revived from the dead, vampires appearing, you name it. Every 2 weeks there will be an episode of Linux Inlaws, no matter what. And that's a promise that has been rock solid for the last 27 years, 8 months, and 2 weeks.
Okay. Yes.
Give or take a few.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that's, I think, I don't know, you could argue that weekly would be better, but I don't think we'd manage that, so, to be fair.
Martin is under the impression we should release daily, like HPR. Isn't that public radio?
Yes, but they have a lot of people making stuff.
Yes, Martin. We only have about 27 presenters that double as Chris and Martin.
We do. Oh, good to know.
Yes.
Good to know.
You didn't get the memo, no? Okay, fair enough. And I mean, the whole company clocks in under 50 people, so it's not a lot. Unlike HPR, who has about 10,000 wannabe presenters or something. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Indeed. Where were we? Yes, frequency. Okay. Yes.
Frequency, yes.
But yeah, I think if you leave it too long, then it doesn't make sense, right, for a podcast. It's no, the format isn't meant for that, in my opinion.
Okay, what defines a podcast apart from the content? Any thoughts?
Well, it varies, right? Because people have video, people have different formats, different
keep talking.
Sponsoring, different hosts sometimes. What
Absolutely.
Else do they have? Yeah, about it, really, isn't it?
I mean, two things come to mind, right? Frequency and length.
Oh, those two, yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think length is slightly less important than frequency. If you're interested in a certain topic or the podcast is well done, then you're going to listen to it. And if the frequency is more important than the length, because there's always the times 2 button.
Yeah. But then I have the impression that, especially the younger generation, no offense now, if you're under the age of 50 listening to this, you may find the following quite offensive. So just fast forward, right? No, jokes aside, I have the impression that people do not tend to listen to episodes longer than an hour.
Yeah, we had that feedback as well, right? It's people prefer 45 minutes-ish, I think, is what we've been told, but that's quite tricky to achieve, usually. So yeah, the hour is kind of what we settled on. And that's sometimes too short as well. So,
and Martin, you see, if we had proper marketing, which we don't, I might
How does that change the length?
I'm just getting there, Martin. Just listen,
Okay.
listen. Exactly.
Okay, I'm listening.
So
Yeah.
marketing would get the net promoter score from the audience, so we would know how many goldfish listen to us.
Okay.
But as you keep firing marketing, we don't have that metric. If you know what I mean.
we don't really mind because we're making the podcast for those who want to listen and for us. So, goldfish or
Not the
not.
other way around, okay? Fair enough.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, as you say, some podcasts have a monetization strategy, or they have a product that they want to peddle or whatever, right? Or a consultancy or training course, but we have none of those.
True.
Which makes it.
But then it would be interesting, basically, how many goldfish there are among the audience, in terms of. Because goldfish, as we all know, have a very short attention span, and even an hour would be pushing it.
Yes.
So if our audience would... yes, it does, Martin. And bear with me. Yes. You see, if we would come to the conclusion based on that metric that we have about 98% of the audience consisting of goldfish, we would probably have to do something about the format, if you get my drift.
Well, no, we don't have to.
Well, I mean, we would lose some if we would be extending the length in terms of making the podcast longer. Exactly, because the goldfish would either fall asleep, die, or simply don't listen.
Yes, but then we don't necessarily have a goldfish metric. So,
you see, in
fact, we have no metrics.
You see, Martin, this is what we do not know.
So, this is a good thing. We don't need metrics. It's bad for you. Yeah. There we go.
So, Martin, just keep trying marketing all over.
Yes. Well, no, but there's no point having marketing if there's what is the point anyway, right? Is to ideally the podcast is self propagating or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Speaking of podcasts,
oh yes.
Yes.
Yes. We're not talking about marketing.
No, exactly. So, no, Martin, this is not the focus of today's episode. Okay.
No. Okay.
Back to podcasts. Having covered now computer science and technology in general. What's
really.
missing?
Not really.
Do tell.
Well, the computer science in general. Did you say?
Yes. I mean, we covered FLOSS. We covered technology in general, and now it's probably time to venture to the realm outside technology, as in politics.
Well, no.
In that case, keep talking, Martin. We have about 2 hours left.
Okay.
Take it away.
Well, there is, of course, the CMU database group, which have done a great series on the components of a database and how they all work or need to work or how difficult it is to build them and all the kind of things. So very worthwhile if you're studying databases. Then there is a guy called Computer File, which covers a lot of, let's say, talks about hardware things. So if you're into those kind of topics, that is quite useful. There is also Tech Lore, which is quite interesting in that the topics that they cover, so all non-FLOSS related, but it's really a series around open source software, not so much projects, but what is good about various bits of software, but then done as a YouTube series. So, and mainly focused on things like privacy as well. So, which is quite nice. Where were we? So, what else is worth mentioning?
TechnoTim, Computer
TechnoTim, yes, TechnoTim and Neural9. So Neural9, he's quite an interesting guy. He just takes a problem and solves it with code. So if you're into this kind of thing as well, it's quite
like word domination or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Domination is
Okay.
always good. Technotim is more on the hardware side again. So, all those kind of things, really. That's our...
So what does Technotim talk about? So if your D-Wave 2X is broken, he has just the quantum
Well,
level.
not that many people have access to D-Wave, strangely enough.
Do they not
so
know?
this is more about your standard hardware.
I see.
Yeah.
So if you broke into a museum and stole a Crate 2X or 2, whatever they were called, Tim would have the parts and would know how to get them in order to fix that crate, in order to fix that machine.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. And then there's a whole bunch on the internet, on the security side, which
Yes, internet. Of course. We should probably mention in that case the dark side, which also we had on the show.
We did.
As in Jack, if you're listening, this is for you. As in Jack Resider. There's also, of course, our friends from the Armchair Investigators. We are on the show as well. Exactly.
And Malicious Life, who are on the show as well.
Yes, who is no longer, unfortunately.
Yes. But yeah.
Ravi, if you're listening, I know, and I hope you are. If you want to do a reboot, just reach out. Martin won't charge you, and I will turn a blind eye, or the other way around.
Maybe we should have him back.
You see, I think he's still working on something, so let's see.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Okay. Right. Yes. So, yeah, and then if you're more on the YouTube side, there is a guy called David Bombal who covers all aspects, security, privacy.
Bumble like the dating app?
How much?
Bumble like the dating app.
No, BOMBALL. I think he's
okay, different spelling. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no, he covers all sorts of stuff from hardware security to Kali Linux, for example. Right?
Okay.
And he has interviews with people that do pen testing or whatever, or all these kind of things, and so very interesting series. And I think he publishes very frequently as well. So,
okay.
Yeah, InfoSec, all that kind of stuff, hacking. Yep. Very good. I like that one. It's really a good listen. I think that is it on the security side, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, in that case, for the next 2 hours, let's cover the rest in terms of what we listen to outside technology. I listen to quite a few economics podcasts. What's the one I'm looking for? Slate Money and Unhatched, probably the being most important ones. Both of them cover markets. They release, I think they both release bi-weekly, as in twice a week. Maybe I'm wrong. Just check out the RSS feed, which you will find in the show notes. It's mostly about markets, economics, and the implications of Trump's shenanigans with regards to tariffs and all the rest of it. It's very interesting because they feature in-depth discussions about certain topics.
Okay.
One of them relates, I think Slate relates to, no, it's actually Unhatched. Unhatched is Financial Times, and some of the Slate stuff probably comes from either the Wall Street Journal or something very close to them. So they know what they're talking about.
Okay.
And of course, there's also Planet Money of NPR fame as a national public radio. Shorter episodes, more like 20 to 30 minutes. One in-depth topic, but very well researched.
Okay.
Like NPR normally is as a national public radio. They run a very funny and frequent format called the Summer School that, interesting enough, teach you anything that you need to know about the fundamentals of economics. For example, this year they had Adam Smith, they had Keynes, and all the rest of them in sound bites no longer than half an hour. But what NPR is pretty good at, they know how to get the essentials across without boring you.
Okay, that's always good. Yeah.
Yes. So if you're so inclined, that's the one you want to listen to.
Okay.
Any things on your side
Oh, yeah, loads.
with regards to economics now?
Oh, economics. No.
Okay.
No, too depressing. Yeah.
Before I forget, of course, there's also Venture Unlocked. I came across that actually when I was talking to Alex with regards to VC and Floss, and it's all about the angles of venture capital and funding startups. Something that I found particularly interesting, coming from a financial service background all those years ago, because it's mostly North American companies. Your man covers, because he's actually from a VC background. He
Right.
knows the industry. He knows the industry upside down. And what he does is actually they do release frequently, at least every month or something like that. Your man also always has one guest on the show, and then they dive into a particular topic. For example, they had about at least 4 episodes on seed funding, as in how do you tackle the initial stages of setting up a company. But they also had kind of shows on how to exit properly and that sort of thing, which I found very interesting.
So when's your startup beginning?
I don't have a startup, I'm afraid.
You don't have one?
No, I don't.
But when is it happening, though?
Not anytime soon.
Oh, that's a shame.
I don't have time for a startup, I'm afraid, Martin.
Huh.
No. Money or not.
Doing something wrong in that case. Yeah.
Probably. No, jokes aside. No, I mean it's very interesting if you're if you're not in venture capital, because you learn a lot about, for example, how to tie funding strategies to economic cycles and all the rest of it, which I find particularly interesting if you are following economics and markets and all the rest of it.
Okay.
Over to you, Martin.
Okay. So no economics on my side. I don't know if you've heard of BBC Sounds, but they do.
British Broadcasting Corporation is for old people who cannot get to sleep, right?
No, they do things like the news as well, and things for young people as well these days, which is
okay,
not very good. But anyway. Anyway, where were we? Yes, so they do a bunch of podcasts, and some of those are like what do you call them? A bit like Malicious Life, where they do investigative series and so on. Okay. So more like a storytelling scenario.
Like documentaries.
Yeah, it's storytelling, right? So, but then they are usually multiple episodes on the same topic. About 45 minutes long usually, and there's well researched, well told, things like the I think I mentioned this as a box before, like 13 minutes to the moon and things like that, etc. So if you want to listen to a story rather than read a book, they have some really good stuff on there.
Excellent. And they publish every week, every month?
Well, there you have a whole bunch of different series on there. So
okay.
Yeah, you obviously there's a back catalogue on things that you may want to listen to. So it depends where you are really in if you're following a particular series or a new one is starting or whatever. Or, just want to start something new.
Fair enough.
Pick up an older one. So that's if you like stories and don't want to read a book, that's quite nice. There is also I don't know if have you ever seen the Royal Institution series. They
no,
they do a lot of talks on sciencey topics, which is actually obviously it depends what they are, but even if you're not necessarily interested in a certain topic or they have thought about it, then you can just pick one up and they will always be well done, which is nice. So,
like well research, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's actually all sorts, but that does make it interesting. So there's a lot of different types of talks there, and just pick one and see if you enjoy it, the topic or not. But there's something to learn from every episode usually. Where was I? And then there's one. There's also Bloomberg. I don't know if you've seen any of those. They have quite a nice series.
The market data company, yes. I know them quite well, but I wouldn't say I'm familiar with the podcasts yet.
Okay. Yeah. So they're kind of, generally business orientated, but there's also, again, a bunch of stories, like Brazil's biggest bank heist, for example, as an episode. So there's all sorts, but again, usually very well done, well researched, and well told. So just a bit of variation on tech topics. Yeah, and then there's a bunch of there's a couple of. I mean, if you're into let's say fixing things or working out which piece of hardware is around your house is good for you, there's a whole bunch of people that do things like that, and actually some of them do a really good job of testing these things, taking them apart and so on, fixing them. So you can find there's things like Repair Geek and Project Farm. So.
But they would only stop at they would only cover hardware. They wouldn't kind of cover how to take wives apart, put them back together again, or husbands or dogs,
not yet. No. Interesting.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe that should be something for your startup.
and how to repair them exactly.
Yes. Yeah. No, you could be on something there. Yeah.
If they need fixing, how about that?
PTs, if you're listening, Christus had a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, how to fix your wife, how to fix your husband. Mrs. Fisher, please don't send emails, just talk to your husband first, just in case. Yep. Okay, back to much safer grounds. There's still a couple of podcasts left on my list.
Okay.
I'll try to keep things short, so I won't mention more than 100 remaining. So one of the podcasts I'm listening to is called Freakonomics Radio. That's a very interesting one. I came across that about a year ago. Freakonomics Radio, no. The title is misleading because
it is.
Your man covers anything, not everything, but anything worth mentioning. Okay. For example, they just had a 3-minute data series on about whaling in the US and elsewhere. Okay. Whaling, exactly.
Oh, it's still a thing.
Oh, very much so, yes. And the last episode of that 3-part series actually featured a Norwegian who, during the time span of 20 minutes, explains why he still hunts whales and what's good about it, and why people looking down on this, as in despising this, are totally wrong.
Okay.
And if you listen to this from his perspective, it does totally make sense because he's just following a tradition that apparently has been alive and kicking in Norway and other places for the last couple of centuries.
Yeah. Norway, Japan, they've been
exactly
involved in that kind of shenanigans, indeed.
Another one in that realm is Search Engine. Again, your man name escapes me, but details, of course, will be in the show notes. Your man started out with covering crypto, but then changed onto a much more general format. And it's let's put it this way, an unusual take on things. Similar to Freakonomics Radio, he covers pretty much everything under the sun that comes to mind. It's professionally done. It's released once a week. Similar to Freakonomics, it's commercialized as in monetized because they do run ads left, right, and center. I'm tempted to that. But it's not that prevalent. You're talking about 10 seconds, maybe 3 times in a show or something like that. But in contrast to Freakonomics, he has a much more humorous take on things, Won't give away too much. Just listen to a couple of episodes if you want to know what this is all about. And then some strange things worth mentioning. This is now mostly German because I'm living here and I happen to speak a little bit of the language. So Plus Minus is a German podcast with an economic take on things. There's also a TV show by the same name, and they cover similar things. It's about 20, 30 minutes long, and I wouldn't say it's a copy of the TV show, but it's not too far off. It's economic things covered in layman's terms, let's put it this way, but I still find this interesting. And of course, probably the most interesting one, if I would be 20 or 30 years younger, would be Liebt euch, as in love yourself. It's a couple of hosts talking about, or it's a phone-in show actually, so where people send in their stories, and I'm almost going to say it's typical German because they speak about their first encounters, as in what went wrong, what went really wrong, what could have been better. And I think 2 or 3 of these, 50 episodes by now, resulted actually in the worst case scenario, as in they got married. But most of the time it's very funny if you happen to speak the language, because they have a very humorous take on the whole topics. Because what they essentially do is people phone in or mail in their stories, and then they comment on the individual segments. So what they do is actually they split up the stories in these segments, and then after each and every segment they comment based on their own experience on these segments. So for example, the female host is bisexual apparently, or is living in an open relationship, and she speaks about the times where she was single and the implications of it, and most of the time what not to do. Okay. It used to start off with 2 girls, or ladies rather, and it's now a gentleman in his 30s, I suppose, in addition to the hostess, who's also kind of early mid-30s. And it's a very funny and interesting take on, let's put it this way, the modern German way of mating.
Okay. Anyway, let's not get into details about the German mating ritual.
Caveat, it can be very explicit, so be warned if you listen to this.
Okay. Germans, you are weird. There we go.
A well-known fact, I might add.
If you're listening, yeah. Right. Let's see. So, what did we cover? So on to the next 3 hours.
Are you exactly? You don't listen to the weird stuff, no? I mean, this is basically why you go down to the pub, right? And then you listen to weird stuff, not necessarily on podcasts.
No, weird stuff, politics, economics, yeah, all these kind of things. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Very good. So I don't have live, in contrast to Martin, so I have to listen to podcast. Martin simply goes down to the pub and gets it there.
Yes.
Interesting. So the conclusion, Martin. Before we go into the proxies, yes.
Conclusion. I guess that depends.
Are they worth listening to, I wonder?
Oh, are they worth listening to? Well, answer is, as always,
maybe.
It depends. No, I think for you and I think the answer is obviously clear, yes. But
yes,
yeah.
And needless to say, if there's one podcast you want to listen to, you're doing this already as we speak.
Indeed. So thank you for listening.
Exactly. Thank you for listening. Exactly. Yes. Anything else to add?
No, I don't think so. No.
We should probably thank you. Sorry, not thank you, but rather thank the people who made podcasts. Because without these people who make podcasts, there wouldn't be something called Linux Inlaws. Because Martin and myself have listened to a lot of podcasts before we came up with the idea that this world just needs another Floss podcast by the name of Linux Inlaws. And without you, as in the contributors out there, there wouldn't be something called Linux Inlaws. That's probably fair to say. And needless to say, also the guests who appear on this podcast.
Yes.
Fair play to you, and keep the ball rolling, because this is what the communities, as in the people who produce podcasts, and the listeners needs, as in outside views, fresh input, you name it. So keep up the good work to the greater audience out there. And of course, thank you to all of these people listening to podcasts, because in contrast to Martin and myself, who are just doing Linux Inlaws just for themselves, as we all know, other people do it for the audience out there.
Yes, indeed. Well, we also do for the audience, but yes. So, audience, if you're listening, send feedback. Yeah.
Exactly. If you don't send feedback, that's okay as well.
That's okay as well. Yeah. Well, it'd be better if you did, obviously.
But then we would get even more mails.
Okay. Do we have feedback?
Not today. No.
Not today? Oh, okay.
The bots send it, all of them, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Yes.
They're all blocked. Okay.
I don't know why.
Maybe you got it tuned to block positive.
By the looks of it, some idiots discovered the email address, because it's on the webpage and all the rest of it. So we do get a lot of spam these days. But the bots do an excellent job in terms of filtering them out. These spam mails. So time for the boxes, Mr. Visser.
Oh, go on then.
My box is actually a movie, funny enough, called The Foreigner. It's a Jackie Chan movie. Jackie Chan, yes.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan, yes.
Oh, is he still alive? Wow.
Oh, absolutely, Martin. He's now 140 years old.
Yes.
Exactly. But the good news is that he still does movies. So
okay, well, that's good.
Exactly. So he used to be all the rage about 40 years ago, as probably most of our listeners know.
Oh no, he's been going all the time, I think, hasn't he?
Yeah, but in the last 20 years, less frequently, I suppose.
Oh.
But this is certainly worth watching, because it's a really good rebound. In terms of, I won't give away too much, but it's about an Asian one-person army standing against the IRA and other groups in Northern Ireland.
Right.
Yes.
It's unexpected.
And this is one of the plots of the movie, exactly. And IMDb gives it solid 7. I would venture as far as 8 in terms of star rating. The storyline is intelligent, well thought. It's very funny, I think. But as I said, I won't give away too much. If you have about 2 hours time, this is something. If you are game for a little bit of action, funny dialogues, well-written script, I might add, that's the one you want to see. It's about 8 years old, because it was done in 27, and I'm not too sure why it has escaped me until now, because I just came across that recently. But for me, it's one of the jewels of the last 10 years, absolutely worth watching.
Okay.
Now over to you, Martin.
Yeah, so my box is something called the Open Source Summit, which happens every year. Happens every year in 3 continents, I think. US, Europe, and Asia.
4? No? Yes? No? Okay. So they abandoned Antarctica. Okay, fair enough. I reckon that not that many people showed up.
Maybe they should have done it in summer instead.
Fair enough.
But it's organized by the Linux Foundation, right? So it covers a lot of their projects. But the good thing about these things is that you get one place where a lot of open source nerds come together and talk about open source stuff. So thank you, Linux Foundation, for organizing these things.
And Mr. Zeblin, if you're listening, we reached out about 20 times, and you doing an excellent job, because we didn't get any replies. The cloud native, the CNCF made it to the show, and other other minions, for want of a better expression, did as well. But if you wanna see the king appearing on the show, or the emperor, rather, not the king, but rather the emperor, just reach out. Martin is not too far away from the Linux Foundation, and the email address you'll find in the show notes.
Indeed.
And with
that, thank you for listening, as always.
And keep up the listening, and if you're so inclined, pick another podcast to listen to, but if not, just stick to the In-Laws. Fair enough.
Well, they're all going to be in the show notes, right?
Maybe.
Well, some anyway. Yeah.
See you in a fortnight.
Yeah, see you later. Bye.
This is the Linux In-Laws.
You come for the knowledge,
but stay for the madness.
Thank you for listening.
We hope you like this feature presentation. If so, please spread the word. If not, please let us know. Feedback at linuxinlaws.eu.